Hello again. I could not wait. I am doing a SlayGlamBox unboxing and try on. I did already take everything out of here and get it out of its bubble wrap, so I'm not flutzing around with that on camera. I am in a different place in my house. I'm still at my house, but I am keeping an eye on a garage sale, and it turns out that the dining room has a lot of natural light. So even though it is gray and gloomy and rainy today, pretty good window light, and I'm not really expecting a whole lot of garage salers because it is windy and rainy. So I get to open the stuff that came in my mailbox. So I already did a regular primer and foundation and some concealer because I forgot that the face modeling contour palette has some of those shades. The finish is a powder, but all of the rest of this, well, except the highlight, is cream. And I haven't done cream contour before, so I am looking forward to playing around with that. There is a huge mirror in here. And it came with this double-ended brush, so you got more of a round, angled, very densely packed, very soft brush. And then this one is thinner, probably for, you know, getting in those details and then buffing it in or out or whatever. Then we also have the Fix It Clear Liner, which I am so looking forward to playing around with this. You mix it with whatever pigments you want to make of whatever color liner you want to. So that's going to be fun. The Steve Laurent, what is it? It's a lip thing. Okay, Lilac Lip Gloss. It looks more mauvey pinky in the tube, but we'll see what that looks like. And then we have our Bella Pierre Cosmetics Get the Look Eye Kit. And it comes with a primer and then 3 shades to help build a whole eye look. And that also came with a couple of brushes. So the number 35 and the number 18. This one's like a small angled liner brush, and this one is a soft kind of packing brush. I also have my regular brushes out so I can do what I want to with that. So yeah, so the eye look, the liner, the palette, the brush, and the lipstick. That's what came in this month. So I'm going to jump into the contour palette because I'm going to use that first. And there are 5 cream shades. The yellow one you would use more for like color correcting. I'm going to try out a little bit under my eyes. Like I said, I had already done concealer, but then I kind of wiped it off to try and play around with this. This is not my usual staging area. I don't know where anything is. Alright, I'm just going to use my finger. And this did sit in my mailbox for a little bit, so it might be a bit cold, might need to be warmed up a little bit. Alright, I'm going to tap that. It doesn't show up near as yellow as it looks, and it doesn't look super yellow, kind of like creamy butter or something if you bake. It definitely brightens up the under eye pretty quickly, and this would probably be better precision if I used a tool and not my finger. I guess I'm nervous to use a brush with such a firm cream product. I guess that was definitely brightening. I'm going to try putting the point of my sponge directly in there and seeing what happens. Okay, it comes off pretty well on that. And then while I was getting this stuff ready, I went ahead and got into the primer because I wasn't sure how it applied, and I didn't want to put you all through the process of me trying to figure it out. And it's firm, but like melts at body temperature. Not melts, but like gets softer. So I placed that in the areas where I'm going to be doing contour. If you don't know, or you've heard that thrown around and you don't know how to do it or what it means exactly, and it involves people drawing brown streaks. Okay, I learned my lesson about talking with my hands and not paying attention. The palette is fine. The pans did pop out, but they have little finger grips here so that you can, I guess, rearrange it. And there's a little magnet, so that's good. Didn't break the mirror, not 7 years of bad luck. Anyway, what I was trying to explain, I'm going to very carefully just balance it on the table and point. Contouring involves knowing a little bit about like light and shadow theory. So bright light colors draw the eye, and darker colors recede. So like when you're doing an eye look and you put brightness here and darkness here, you're opening up your eyes. When you do like a halo look and you put brightness here and then darkness here, it gives a rounding effect. And so contour on the face, you take the darker shades and you are able to create illusions. So sometimes it's drastic, like with drag kings and queens, and sometimes it's more subtle when you just use like a powder bronzer or something. And cream contour is a little more intense in its results. So you will get different results depending on the products you use and how you use them and the tools that you use. And like I said, I haven't done cream contour before. I've done powder, so this will be an adventure for all of us. Okay, I had a feed my daughter break. I did one half of my face, get a feel for the product, and show an example. And it's subtle. You start out with the lines and it looking crazy, but you want it to blend. You want it to look like your face, just a little more, whatever it is you're going for. And in this case, I'm wanting to define my cheekbones, kind of narrow out and straighten my nose, add a little definition to my forehead. I have an oval face, just kind of focus attention where I want it, and especially for me, carving out a bit of a more defined jawline, because I have a double chin. I mean, pretty much everybody has a little bit of extra if you're over the age of like 24. So around here. And what I did, and I will demo this in a second, is using the darkest shade on actually a very skinny, finely packed soft brush for placing it on my nose and then on my cheekbones, and then using the brush that it came with to add that dark shade around my jawline, and then with what was left, not adding any more, tapping that and putting that on here, and then taking the other end and taking this next darkest shade, just tapping this a bit into it, and then using that to buff in or buff out, however you want to use the terminology, in those areas. And the same with under here. And I did end up dipping back into that because I have a lot of defining to do in that area. And turns out the highlighter is also cream, not powder. And then the finishing powder down here, I put under my eye because the yellow color corrector was starting to crease a bit, and it's very soft. And then once I was satisfied with the amount of definition and blending and everything that I had, I took a different flat-topped packed brush into the powder and tapped it in the areas where the cream product was. The difference in your product will change your technique. So if you're using a powder contour kit, you won't need to set it to make it stay. You'll need to use a setting spray. With cream contour, you don't want it to look like you've smeared mud on your face or something. You want it to blend in, and then you want to set it with a translucent powder or whatever setting powder so that it stays where you put it and it doesn't end up going where you don't want it. So now, down. We're going to do the other half of my face, and hopefully it makes sense and I don't end up blocking the camera too much. And there is a bit of a learning curve. So if you're used to cream contour and you go to powder, it behaves differently, and vice versa. So bear with me. So placement will depend on what effect you're wanting to go for. On the nose, nowadays people are wanting to look snatched, and that involves having a bit of a thinner nose. If you have one that's broad or crooked, or mine's round on the end, you can use the contouring to create the illusion of having a more thin nose. Same with cheekbones. Right now, high defined cheekbones are in. Now, when you suck in your cheeks like fish lips, that's kind of following where your natural definition is. With contouring, place it a little bit higher than that. So right there is where your cheek was sucking. Because when you start to blend, it will go down a little bit. And if your darkest shade is kind of down, it pulls your whole face down. Tati, Nicole Concilio, a lot of people who have been doing this longer than me have some really good videos about how to and how not to do contouring. So I'm gonna just, and when you first start adding product, it does look like you're just drawing some lines on your face, because you are. That's what you're doing. I'm going to try to remember to look in the mirror and not the viewfinder. And with my jawline specifically, I'm basically just putting it where I want it, because my actual jawline is non-existent. And I add a little bit to the bolt of the jaw back here, kind of give a corner. I like to have a bit of a sharper jawline. That might be more masculine than a personal preference. But that can also come in handy if you're wanting to try different things, like gender neutral makeup or drag. I've experimented a little bit, and also for cosplay, if you're wanting to look like a specific character and they have a different face shape than you, you can use contour, light and dark theory to help with that. I'm just gonna tap, and you can see here I've kind of added a line here and here, and that will blend out. You see my skin is lighter through here, and then a little bit darker, and then it kind of fades. Alright, I'm going to switch to this brush, And I'm just putting a little bit on it to help it start blending. So you can see the darkness, my artificial shadow, if you will, is starting to widen, not be as defined.
Mommy, the next day.
Had a little bit of a kid interruption there. This looks way more blended out in person than it does on camera. But now you can see my nose looks kind of muddy, is the term. And what we're gonna do is take the brightener shade and kind of balance out where the contour has gotten away from us on the sides. You definitely don't want the brownness of whatever contour you're using to continue down onto the sides of your nose. You basically are wanting to create the definition just on the surface, kind of the flat surface, and then on the actual sides, you want to keep that off of there. And again, that's if you're wanting to create this specific illusion. So when I say what you want to do, or this or that and the other, that's if this is what you are wanting to do. And I will say this has been an interesting learning experience as far as how cream contour behaves, how it can look. Still working on that. Alright, so I'm taking a little bit of the next to darkest shade. I'm going to tap and wiggle a little bit and blend out a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit of both. Because in addition to creating a jawline, you also have to a little bit create shadow, which is what makes the double chin turn into just your neck. Because yes, we all need to work out and watch our diet and all that jazz, but until then, we have makeup. You get a lot quicker results using illusions. And again, it depends on what you're wanting to do, how defined or blurred you want your illusion. So if you're going to be out, like out on the town and it's night, and lights will be kind of dimmer, you'll want it to be a little bit more defined than, say, out in the middle of the day for, you know, lunch or errands or whatever, because then there's brighter lights. You want it to be a little softer. So yeah. And then like on stage or cosplay will be even more, just more contrast, more definition. All right, so we have what we want done. I'm going to grab this brush, which hasn't had any of the contour colors on it, keeps it clean, dip it into the finish powder, tap, tap, tap. And you don't want to like smear with this, because you've got your cream stuff where you want it. Now you want to set it there, so you don't want to move it around any more than you have to. So tapping, and I did use some of that brightening shade around my mouth, I have a bit of a lady mustache, and so I often have kind of darkness around my mouth area, so I do that. And this is a really actually like transparent powder, so that's nice. Alright, so once you've done all your tapping, you can take a fluffier brush, get a little bit on it, and then do some sweeping motions just to kind of feel, because like the bristles, if you hit somewhere that that's not quite set, you'll feel it kind of catch if it's soft and fluffy enough. And so then you can dip back in and go to where you can feel it. And that's more of a you can feel it thing than a visual thing. Alright, so contour. I should do before and after pictures. Someone actually stopped at the garage sale. I'm shocked. They didn't buy anything, but the rain has stopped a little bit. It's still super windy. Okay, so we did a contouring. I'll try out the cream highlight in a little bit. I'm gonna I'll drop it. I'm going to grab the Blush Me Cheeky palette from J.Cat Beauty that came in last month's SlayGlamBox. I'm gonna just kind of keep it all in the theme. I'm just kind of going with a little bit of a neutral, pinky, matte blush. Wow, that looks way different in the viewfinder than it does in person. And I apologize for the sound effects in the background. My kid has cabin fever. Alright, so blush can be part of contour, actually, so might as well touch on that. Depending on your face shape, different placements will have different effects. So for a long time, people were like, put it on the apples of your cheeks, and that's it. And you can still do that, but drawing it back and up can help lift your face and give a more lifted effect that is currently desired by whoever it is decides what the standards of beauty are. And I kind of like putting a little bit on the tip of my nose and on my chin. I feel like it adds a little bit more, and my forehead a little bit right here. But I don't like add any more product for those places. It's just whatever's left in the same color. That looks super uneven in the viewfinder, but I swear in person it's fine. I wonder if I've got like an actual red patch developing. I don't usually have a whole lot of redness to deal with, but whatever. Okay, so now we're going to play with some eye stuff. Some people like to do eyes and then base. I wanted to go ahead and get my base done so I could just jump right into this. Now, the Bella Pierre Cosmetics Get the Look Eye Kit retails for $50. Comes with a base and then 3 shades. I actually ended up with the wrong eye kit on accident, but this is the Wild Forest one, and they'll be sending me the Purple Storm one very shortly. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of mimic the effect of this kit with other products, because I'm going to save these for a giveaway and then just take the primer from the new kit and put it with this one. It'll make sense, I promise. So I will do a Purple Storm look another day, and I'm going to do a Wild Forest look. I'm going to go ahead and use the provided primer. And this is kind of firm, probably because it sat in the cold for a little bit. Comes off on my finger in kind of a sandy apricot tone. Just gonna tap You could use a brush and you can use your sponge. My hands really aren't that warm, but I'm wanting to use body heat to kind of warm this up since it hasn't really been inside for that long. And that gives you a nice grippy base. And I like when there is a tint sometimes because then your colors show up as their color and not like muted by like dark lids or veins because I have pale skin. So I'm going to get into some greens. I'm gonna use the GlittiCosmetics Siren Song palette. Pardon my broken dark blue, but oh, that was bad. Anyway, I've got a dark green and a medium green shimmer. I'm not going to be using the pressed glitter, but these two colors and this one from SpaceCaseCosmetics in Messy Lochnessie are very similar to the pigments that came in the Bella Pierre Cosmetics kit. So I'm going to still do a wild forest look. And then when the other kit comes in, I'll do a purple storm look. And that way, these stay sealed because I do not need this many greens. I had gotten some new greens and stuff for March, St. Patrick's Day, so I just literally do not need any more. And that's all. Okay, getting this stuff out of the way. Choosing my weapons. I'm going to keep these brushes clean and keep them with those shadows and use my weapons of choice, which consist of a range, really. I've got some SL Miss Glam, I've got a Vasanti, Elizabeth Mott, and then some that I got in a kit from TJ Maxx and they have no labels, so dunno. There's still some glitter stuck in this one. Glitter never dies. Anyway, not mad at that. Alright, so I'm going to lay down the matte dark green. And then, alright, they give you pointers for how to create the look advertised. I'm probably not going to follow the directions. I'm bad about that. Alright, so dark green. Well, yeah, it's a hunter green. I'm concentrating this on the outer corner, but still kind of doing a wash of color. And then kind of fade out the edges. If this were purple, I would look like I had gotten punched in the eye right about now. Alright. Now, I'm put that aside. I'm going to get some of the Space Case Messy Lochnessie. And this is kind of a moss green with shimmer on a tapered, soft blending brush. Putting this above the lid. I'm not really sure what I'm doing just yet. I got some got too much on my brush. Those go really well together. All right. All right. Gonna take some of the, there's actually a medium and a light green, and this one is closest to what came in the Bella Pierre kit. So I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go towards the inner corner. I'm kind of going from a point and then outward in kind of a V. This is looking kind of dragony, actually. It's very soft. All right, I'm gonna take that lightest shimmer underneath and just kind of softly bring that to meet the outer corner. Gotta make the weird makeup faces. And this is definitely more round than, I'm not pulling it out like to make a wing. All right, now I am going to break open the Beauty Creations Scandalous Glow palette that we got in the very first ever SlayGlamBox. This is a bomb highlighter palette. It's kind of a mess because I dip into it so often. All right, I'm getting the lightest shade I'm going to use for my brow bone highlight. It's got a little bit more of a golden, very light color to it that I think will go really well with these greens. All right, I'm going to pop a little bit of that in the inner corner as well. Give me just a second. Okay, now I'm going to play around with the Fix-It clear liner. And I want to get a little interesting up in here. I'm going to use some yellow and make a yellow liner. Both of these have yellow in them. All right, and I'm not entirely sure what I'm doing here, so I'm going to put a little bit of this onto a spare mirror. I think this probably works best if you use loose pigment. But let's give it a go. Getting some powder loosened up here. Nice thing is these shadows are really pigmented, so I don't think it will take a whole lot to stain some liner. I think that's how it works anyway. Alright, move that to the side. Put that down. Alright, gonna add Fix It clear liner. When I first saw the spoiler that it was going to be clear liner, I was like, what is this for? What do you do with it? But then when it was explained, I was super excited because I wanted to play with colorful liners this year. But with this, I don't have to buy a bunch of different colors. I can just mix whatever colors I have. And I have the James Charles palette, so basically I can make whatever color liner I want to. And I have some neon pigments from GlittiCosmetics, so I can make neon ones as well. So yeah, I'm pretty well set with what color liners I can do. Alright, I'm going to pull up the clean mirror, and just using the provided brush, I have no idea what the proportions are supposed to be as far as powder versus liner. It is kind of thin in the bottle, but then once you mix it with your pigment, it gets to more of a regular liner consistency. So let's see what happens. It's applying pretty nicely. I'm just not sure if I like mixed correctly or if I shouldn't use flaked off pressed powder. I'm getting pretty decent color payoff. Not see thickness. So should probably not try to do this. Okay. Well, I mean, it went on. We'll have to do a wear test, see how long it lasts, if it smudges, if it separates, whatever. Gotta make sure I clean this off real good before I stick it back in. It would be nice if there was a way to like dispense it, because it's like spill proof. I don't know. And then have like, I don't know. I feel like this could be improved somehow to make it easier to mix, apply, and then recover so that you're not worried about turning it all one of your colors. I am going to break out the Sormé smear-proof eyeliner that came last month. I have really enjoyed this white eyeliner more than a lot of the inner waterline colors that I have tried. Like, it goes on right away and then it stays. Go figure. And it's really good for laying it down and then putting something on top of it. because then it'll hold it and I don't have to get a whole bunch of different color smear-proof waterliners. And that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tap some blue on top of it. Whenever I do that, I always get powder on my eyeball. But I got it off. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some just regular black liner and some mascara. And then the lip. I just realized my mirror is completely blocking the camera. It's not really doing you any favors. At least I hadn't really done much yet. I don't even know if this is, like, interesting. Watching me try to apply liner without messing up the colorful liner. I probably should have done this first and then the colorful liner. I'm just wanting to get a little more definition around my eye. Alright. That'll do. It's cute. It's whatever. I'm going to real quickly comb out some of the highlight that got in my eyebrows. Alright. That's right. We were going to try the cream highlight that is in this. I've never done... Well, I think I have had, like, a glowy, like, stick one before. I'm going to go ahead and try it with the brush that it came with. Maybe. Okay. It's blank. Alright, I'm gonna go into the sparkly cream highlighter. I'm apprehensive. Alright. This is part of the contouring effect as well. You use the matte dark to recede, and you use kind of a shimmery or, you know, bright to bring forward. So this helped define the lower part of the cheekbones by putting your highlighter on the top of it. That also helps give you the high cheekbones. I see it. It's there. I'm not super impressed. There we go. It's very subtle, so that's what you want. That's good. I feel like this is more of a base for a powder highlighter to make it like pop or stick where you want it to. I don't feel like this is a by itself kind of a thing. Alright. Other places highlighter often goes is down the very, very center of your nose, but not all the way down. And then a little bit. Cupid's bow. Sometimes just a little bit on your chin, and sometimes a little bit like above your eyebrows, depending on your face shape, or just in the center. Again, it depends on your face shape. I'm gonna... And you don't want your highlighter down the middle of your nose to be very wide. If it's thin, it works with the nose contour that you did to create the illusion of that thinner nose. Yeah, this doesn't show up. Maybe once it's warmer, I get more product on it. But, I think, though, as a highlighter base, it would be a lot more effective. So let's see. I'm gonna get into my highlighter palette. Yeah, see, that's what you're going for a lot of the time. And that base really made it prominent, shall we say? Good grief. Yeah, that sure made it pop, so to speak. It kind of grabs hold of it and is like, yep, you're gonna stay right here. Alright, I know I look a little bit nuts with just having one eye done. Good grief. I've not added any more. I'm just kind of trying to feather out the edges a little bit because it looks like the sun spilled on me or something. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop and do the other eye because it's driving me nuts. Alrighty, I have done the other eye and then added some mascara to both. So here's what we're working with. And all I have left to try out is the Yves Laurent lip gloss in Lilac. Looks a little more taupey. It's very opaque for a gloss. It's very creamy. I almost feel like it was mislabeled or something. It doesn't feel like a gloss at all. And it's not that shiny either. I'm so confused. It's more like a satin liquid lip. Well, I like the full opacity. I'm very confused about the labeling. First ingredient is mineral oil. That's not great. Made in China. Well, it's a nice color to go with this look, though. I would definitely not call this lilac. It's definitely more of a nudie pink. So there we go. I am definitely interested to play around more with this contour kit. That was fun. I'm gonna figure out a better way of mixing liners with this clear liner because there's already like a tiny bit of tint to this, which is not what I intended to do. Yeah. I'm super confused about the lip gloss because this is drying down matte. This is a matte liquid lip and it's labeled lip gloss. And it's not. It's definitely not lilac either. I mean, I'm not mad at the color or the finish, except for that's not what it says on the bottle. So that's confusing. And I don't think that's a SlayGlamBox problem. SlayGlamBox problem. I think that's a Yves Laurent problem because that's definitely a manufacturer thing. Anyway, I do like the way the highlighter shade in the contour kit emphasized my powder highlighter after. I do think it was more subtle than I would usually want by itself, but as a under base kind of thing, I liked it. Yeah, so let me know if any of those tips were like confusing or helpful, and I will get this up hopefully today, which is Friday, April 20, whatever it is. That way it's all fresh for anyone who hasn't already gotten their SlayGlamBox. So leave me a comment. You can find me on Instagram. I will probably be posting this look on there when I have the video ready to go up. So let me know what you thought. Thanks. Bye.